Mercury, the planet. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun, so you might think it's always burning hot, but you'd be wrong. At night on Mercury, the temperature drops so low it can freeze bones, reaching minus 180 degrees Celsius. During the day, the temperature rises insanely, reaching 430 degrees Celsius. So why is there such a huge difference between day and night? Mercury has almost no atmosphere, except for an extremely thin outer layer. Without an atmosphere, heat escapes into space and the planet can't trap or distribute it. There are also no winds, clouds, rain, or storms. On top of that, Mercury receives about 5,000 times more harmful solar radiation than Earth. If you landed on Mercury during the day, the heat would burn your skin within seconds. Solar radiation would damage your body cells and eyes, causing instant blindness. Your body fluids would start boiling because there's no atmospheric pressure. And of course, you couldn't take a single breath since there's no air or oxygen. Within about 15 seconds, you'd be dead, suffocated, blinded, burned, and boiling from the inside. If you landed at night, your body fluids would still boil due to the lack of pressure. You'd suffocate from lack of oxygen, your skin and tissues would suffer frostbite, and your cells would die as ice crystals form inside them. Within a minute or less, you'd be dead, frozen, suffocated, and boiling internally. The good news is that Mercury's surface is full of volcanic craters and rough slopes, and there's no atmosphere to slow your spacecraft while descending. So the chance of crashing is extremely high. You'd probably die instantly, which is honestly better than dying the horrible ways just described. Venus is the closest neighbor to Earth, coming as near as 38 million kilometers at its closest point, about a 4-month space trip. It's roughly Earth-sized, which is why it's called Earth's twin, but it's the evil twin. Venus's atmosphere is about 90 times thicker than Earth's, creating surface pressure 92 times greater than Earth's, like being 1 kilometer underwater. About 96% of Venus's atmosphere is carbon dioxide, which traps heat and causes extreme greenhouse effect. That's why even though Venus is the second planet from the Sun, it's the hottest planet in the solar system, reaching 470 degrees Celsius. Unlike Mercury, Venus's thick atmosphere spreads heat everywhere. The entire planet is hell. If you tried to land, you'd pass through thick yellow clouds made of sulfur dioxide from volcanic activity. Visibility is terrible. Any rain is the least of your worries. Even the best spacesuits can't withstand Venus's heat and pressure. Your suit would collapse within seconds. Once it breaks, toxic gases kill you instantly, and the crushing pressure would flatten you like being pressed by a hydraulic machine. Mars. Mars is the first realistic destination after Earth. Daytime temperatures can reach 20 degrees Celsius at the equator in summer, but at night they drop to the minus 120 degrees Celsius, colder than Earth's south pole. Spacesuits can handle that cold, but Mars's atmosphere is extremely thin and mostly carbon dioxide with almost no oxygen. It also can't block radiation, so Mars receives about 30 times more harmful solar radiation than Earth. If you removed your suit, you'd immediately be unable to breathe. Then gases in your body would start boiling because of the low pressure, causing intense pain. After about 90 seconds, you'd lose consciousness, and within 2 minutes, you'd be dead. However, with shelters, oxygen, proper pressure, and spacesuits, humans could live on Mars for years using solar energy, ice water, and oxygen produced from carbon dioxide. Without equipment, though, you wouldn't survive more than 2 minutes. Jupiter is the largest planet and has the strongest magnetic field, about 20,000 times Earth's. The area around it is filled with deadly radiation that would kill you in minutes before you even reach the planet. Even if protected, once inside Jupiter, you'd face winds up to 480 kilometers per hour, freezing ammonia clouds and crushing pressure. There's no solid surface. You'd sink endlessly into a strange, supercritical fluid. Deeper still is liquid metallic hydrogen, formed under pressures of millions of atmospheres and temperatures over 2,700 degrees Celsius. At Jupiter's core, temperatures reach 24,000 degrees Celsius with pressures of 40 million Earth atmospheres. But you'd already be dead long before that. Saturn. Saturn's rings are beautiful and deadly. They're made of rocks and ice, some as small as sand, others mountain-sized. Passing through them would likely kill you instantly. Entering Saturn itself is worse. Winds reach 1,800 kilometers per hour. Ammonia clouds freeze everything. And like Jupiter, there's no solid surface. Only crushing supercritical fluid. At the core, temperatures reach 11,000 degrees Celsius. Fun fact, Saturn is so light that it would float on water if you had a giant space swimming pool. Uranus and Neptune. These two are very similar. Toxic, icy atmospheres with temperatures down to minus 220 degrees Celsius. On Neptune, winds reach 2,000 kilometers per hour, faster than sound. Their atmospheres contain methane. Under extreme pressure, carbon forms diamonds, so it literally rains diamonds there. But gravity and pressure would crush you long before you could enjoy any treasure. Pluto lies about 6 billion kilometers from the Sun. It was once the 9th planet, but was reclassified as a dwarf planet in 2006. Pluto is brutally hostile. Almost no atmosphere, no air resistance during landing, and temperatures around minus 230 degrees Celsius. Your skin would freeze in seconds, there's no oxygen, and pressure is nearly zero. Your blood would boil and freeze at the same time. You wouldn't survive more than 5 seconds on Pluto. Write in the comments, what's the name of the farthest asteroid orbiting the Sun?